Hello everybody and welcome back from that break. We're going to have Zaka on the killer for Eternal here, going to start off strong by getting the corrupt purge onto these generators, preventing the survivors from accessing them immediately. We'll see Golden Wolves just hanging around on the corrupt side of the map, making sure that they're able to hide from the killer before they get found out of position and maybe potentially get infected. Zaka, in the meantime, is going to just head over to all of the generators that are not corrupted and start puking on them to delay the survivors for as much as possible. Now heading back towards the corrupted side to try and search for his first victim. Zaka should be able to find at least one of the survivors, as we saw 3 in this area at the start.
Absolutely, and there it is already. Zaka has his eyes set on the first target right here, but gonna choose to just walk away a little bit and kind of go back and continue to patrol a little bit, right? Kind of throw some vomit on these gens and kind of force them to get off, right? And to kind of reposition so they don't get caught, like you said, in an uncomfortable situation. And right there's kind of the hit and run right there, kind of just, you know, walking around patrolling, and there you go. Get some vomit, right? Had a little bit too much fun last night, but nothing else, right? So
yeah, Zaka will be able to get 2 survivors infected. We saw one of the generators paying off, but a stun from the Claudette will come through. Zaka will immediately break it. However, the Claudette is now going to run towards the shack side of the map, trying to waste as much time from Zaka as possible, but runs into another one of the survivors. In the meantime, Slogolo will be infected and turned red there, now going to be injured for the rest of the match. In the meantime, however, we'll try to get this thing infected, and we will do it, and the injure will also come through. Zaka now is going to have access to their power and is immediately going to head over towards it and get it as fast as possible. We see Fatinatophobia in huge effect right now, as we have 3 injured survivors and probably a 4th coming here through fastly because of this corrupt purge. Yep, there's the 4th one. And now if Zaka is able to find any of these survivors, they will be very, very quick to down as his power is currently up.
absolutely, and like you said, the corrupt purge right there, and there goes you're pretty much at a dead zone here, and it's gonna get the down. Great stuff, right? The corrupt intervention timer slowly running out already. However, Zaka will get the first hook, but Golden Wolves will also get the first gen, potentially the second one underway as well.
Yeah, Zaka, if they want to consolidate their pressure right now, needs to get another down as fast as possible. You know, you don't really have any Jin regression. You do have Jin slowdown, but you don't have any Jin regression on this build. So you're all about pressure and keeping up that pressure, especially with no way out. You're going to want those unique hooks as fast as possible, and that seems exactly what Zaka is trying to do, trying to get the down right here, throwing out their corrupt purge, but it seems that the survivor has just left the tile and decided to try and make their way away. But no, Claudette actually stayed on the corner, and Zaka knew it, getting the down through the window. Finally now going to get their second down next to the generator. The survivors were almost completed. This is huge for Zaka, as they're going to be able to get so much pressure on this side of the map. However, the survivors right now aren't cleansing. They're trying to wait out this power for as long as possible to prevent the corrupt purge from coming up again. Zaka chose to bring an apple, however, so they will have access to another pull when the time comes, if they're able to make it all the way across the map, which is going to be completely hard because all their pressure is on this shack side of the map.
For sure, absolutely. You know, the Plague has range, has the ability to snowball. However, the one thing that Plague can lack in a little bit is speed and mobility, getting from point A to point B, right? There's no teleport options. There's nothing that buffs your speed. So, like you said, you have to kind of maintain this pressure right here. And that's exactly what Zaka looks to do, right? Getting the pallet drop right here, gets the break, and gonna opt to make distance, maybe head towards the shack side right here. And yeah, absolutely, there it is. So, you know, like you said, no true way to slow down gens. You have to consistently pressure people to get off of them, right? There, you know, even though there's no regression.
Yeah. Now, however, Rancor is going to be able to find one of the survivors out in the open. No way for their power to be up right now, so Zaka is going to have to play an M1 killer around this pallet. However, the survivor will have access to another pallet and immediately heads over to that other loop. Zaka is going to have to force this pallet down as fast as possible if they don't want to waste much time. The survivors, in the meantime, haven't cleansed still, so their power for Zaka is not up on this side of the map. Now going to go down finally again, but this is going to be the second stage onto the Fang, and a campout potentially could happen, as we are at 3 gens and there's a lot of pressure on this side of the map, so not a lot that survivors can do. Thanatophobia, in the meantime, like I said before, is going to play so much into Zaka's gameplay right now, allowing him to have so much slowdown onto that. I believe it's 16 or 20% now since the buff. Yeah, 20% now since the buff. So that slowdown is going to be so immense on these generators currently, and the survivors really can't do anything about it without cleansing. And if they do cleanse, they give the killer his power. There's not enough pools on the opposite side of the map to prevent Zaka from being able to get his power. Only 2 survivors can probably cleanse on the opposite side of the map. In the meantime, however, we will see Claudette hiding behind the shack, waiting for the save as Zaka just stands around trying to camp this last survivor out.
Absolutely. Like you said, not much else to do, right? Even with the Nat. However, even with the gen slowdown, right? The slowdown to the speed, they're able to kind of pump out 3 gens here. Although, like you said, we are going to see probably the camp out right here, even though someone is at bay on standby ready to try to get this save. However, when you can only take 1 hit, right? This is not like any normal killer where, you could take a hit, get some distance, get the hunt hook, and then if you have BT, it provides the opportunity to take another hit. However, that's not how it's going to work right now with the Plague as we get the first death, but we do get generator number 4 up, and however, right in front of the corrupt pool. So now we get access to the power again. Zaka going to look to try to close this out before they finish the last gen, and here it comes, throwing out the corrupt purge, trying to get some distance, trying to catch survivors in a rough spot, and that's gonna no, not gonna do it. The jukes over here. However, they will finally get the down on to the survivor right here as you see the generator. It's almost there, right? Even with the Nat, right, you're able to kind of consistently do the gen. Like there's no ruin, there's nothing like that punishes you for getting off of the gen, so you kind of are forced to stay on it. However, that's with the corrupt purge, that might be such a good thing. That might be a good thing, right? You could just force, exactly they're going to be on the gens, that they have to stay on it, so maybe you can get a sniper or 2.
And I want to mention 2 things that the survivors just did that were insane plays. We saw that the Lori died in the corner of the map to prevent the pickup onto them, preventing that no way out stack from Zaka from being able to complete it. We saw Mortal on the opposite side of the map working on a generator that didn't have much progress, just so that they were in a safe position and Zaka couldn't immediately pressure them with the corrupt purge. And in the meantime, Slogolo, the only survivor who could have been pressured, could have been killed off in that side of the map, who was on that side of the map waiting for the save, was in the basement hiding down there, making sure that the killer had no chance of going down there and finding him, because if you search down in that basement, you just lose the last generator if they're on that middle one that that Slow was on before.
Yeah, absolutely. Just great positioning, great awareness, great game sense to kind of just, like you said, stall out the power, right? Because, there's only so much that hiding can do for you. As we see the 5th generator pop and that noise notification proctors us that someone tried to open the gate as No Way Out starts. With 2 stacks, you get some delay, but you don't have that much time to stall out. So you gotta find these guys really quickly and maybe try to get some downs, maybe try to get some slugs going as we get the cleanse onto the bag. And like you said, in certain positions where the killer can't punish you, you opt to cleanse there, because then you can take an extra hit. We didn't see any puke on the doors. We haven't seen anything like that. So they pretty much get to start opening the doors for free now as the No Way Out timer runs out and as we get into the corrupt purge.
Yeah, the Golden Lips has played this extremely well so far, and making sure that Zaka is unable to get much pressure at all, if any, since the start of the match. You had that 1 camp out, but they didn't make that count for nothing. They got all the generators done because of it, and they were able to just sneak by so professionally that Zaka wasn't able to get a kill before the last generator, and now it seems like we're going to see a 3-man out if the survivors play this well. We see scratch marks, I believe that's up to the Claudette, so this could be the down onto the Claudette unless they are already on the door. I couldn't tell there from the screen share, but we should see the survivors sneaking around. No, yeah, the Claudette is not at the doors, so this is going to be a close match. We'll see that the Lori gets injured and find out in the open, however, so this could also be a down onto the Lori, who is going to be a fresh hook and would be worth the most points in this situation for Zaka. So Zaka really needs to be able to find this, and this pallet was used earlier in the match, so that's not going to be able to be prioritized on by the survivors, so they'll have to play around all these windows, which are very, very strong for the Plague. Now just playing a 50-50 mind game, it seems like the vault will kind of come through, but Zaka swallows his vomit. It seems the Lori is going to be able to make some distance, but the locker will not be the safe haven that the Lori thought it would be, and the pickup will finally come through. In the meantime, however, we will see 2 escapes happening from the survivors, but this fresh hook will still come through, and the death onto Ryan will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. just a clinic on, on multiple avenues on Golden Wolves' side, right? Just the way they were able to, reposition in certain places to where the killer won't spot you out. Like you said, if Zaka takes the time to go to the basement, if Zaka takes the time to go all the way down there, you lose a lot of time, even though you do get the down and the immediate hook. And so that's really good awareness right there. And for anybody who's, playing this game casually, you're still trying to get better, one of the biggest ways to counter the camp, right? Pump the generators out as fast as you can. And that's exactly what Golden Wolves did. Well-deserved 2 out right there for sure.
Definitely. And with a score of 15-17, it's going to be a close match, and we'll see how Golden Wolves is able to respond with their own killer after a short break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back from a short break as we got a change of killer and change of teams. At this time, we have Golden Wolves killing with the Plague, and we have Eternal surviving. As we have Benny Boy, the good old Benny with the Plague, as we have Dan, as we have Bubble Zara, Royalty, and Zaka surviving for Eternal as they look to try to close out this first killer.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see Benny just going over immediately towards the corrupt side, not even puking on the generators in the meantime, just trying to find out a survivor out in the open on this side of the map. The survivors have to work towards him, so Benny knows that he can sit in this side of the map and just wait for somebody to come towards him, especially since they have all the gens on this side of the map corrupted, unlike last match where we didn't see that happen. And it seems like Benny is going to head over straight towards where we just saw the survivors hiding. If he's able to find one, this could be huge. He sees the scratch marks and starts the chase immediately with Zaka. Now going to trace around this pallet gym. Benny should be able to get some infection on the survivors, especially since they puked on that pallet. In the meantime, however, the survivors are going to run towards the opposite side of the map. Benny is just going to try and chase around as much as possible, getting as close as possible as Zaka and getting that infection as fast as possible as well. And probably now going to continue the chase, but Benny also has the option of leaving as the survivors are all going towards that opposite side of the map, and he has access to his power on that side of the map where the shack is. Now going to chase around the main building, switching over to the pallet. Zaka is just going to try and delay Benny for as long as possible. Benny probably just trying to camp out the first survivor that they find, so going to try and commit to this chase as long as possible. But it seems like Zaka is just going to immediately drop all the pallets, not giving any time for Benny here on this side of the map. You have that window to play with as well too, so having these pallets all around, Zaka is in a very, very comfortable position out in the open. Even though they are injured, it doesn't matter since they have so much to work with.
Absolutely. Just like you said, gonna look to try to camp out the first survivor, try to get the immediate down. I mean, you see Benny just beelining for Zaka. However, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pallets dropped, and finally we see someone. We see Dan gonna try to take a body block hit, gonna try to, just take the puke, right? It's all good. He threw up in my car. It's all good. I'm gonna try to get this down right here. However, Dan, really good stuff, allowing Zaka to get the window wall and make distance. And now you have to make a choice, right? Can you reposition yourself in a way that'll make it more interesting for the survivors to try to call out who Benny is exactly trying to go for? And now that both Dan and Zaka are both broken and fully corrupted, you have to be careful here, right? Like, now you see the change in targets as we get the first generator popped right now for Eternal.
Yeah, definitely. Benny, in the meantime, however, is going to need to get some pressure as these survivors are working so hard on their generators. One already completed, the second one on the way, and a third one probably about to pop as well. There's the third one that I was talking about, and then the other one on its way right here in the middle of the map. And now all Benny needs to do is get it down if they want to consolidate any pressure at all, since the survivors are just taking it away from him. Now going to chase around I forget what this is called, but one of these. Oh my God! A pallet stun is going to come through, and a blind as well to get as much distance as possible. But Benny's not going to take it. Instead, going to immediately go back onto the Claudette Royalty. Now going to chase around the middle of the map where Benny was previously. Benny not able to get any pressure at all right now. Has to get their power as fast as possible again, since they were knocked out of it previously by that pallet stun.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, just what a great way to get that stun. Great awareness, great positioning, get the stun, nullify that power, forcing Benny to go to another fountain and waste a little bit more time in getting that corrupt purge once again. And, like you said, just the fact that they're losing pressure is just so scary. And oh my God, what unfortunate, what a miss right there. And still not able to get the corrupt purge vomit hit on Royalty, I believe. So yeah, and another gen pops, like you said, like just the fact that like that one chase on Zaka just honestly feel like it hurts so much for Benny just because of how, like, you know, Zaka's awareness as he finally gets a hit. Zaka's awareness around the gens, around knowing, hey, if I can extend this chase as long as possible, you know, I can get these, you know, even if he went down, right? So just great play from Zaka as we get the down onto Royalty and the Claudette.
Yeah, but this is the first down now at 2 generators remaining, probably about to be 1 if the survivors are playing efficiently, and it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Bubba Zava has been so well in being able to keep, or not Bubba Zava, sorry, Royalty has been so good at being able to keep the pressure up on the killer, as we see a little bit of a spectator blood come out and Zaka goes down to a floating pile of puke that is now transformed into the Plague themselves. A wonderful game DBD is, with absolutely no bugs whatsoever. We will see now the hook coming through onto Zaka, who initially had the best chase up from the start on a Plague match that I've ever seen, able to keep so much pressure up away from Binny because of how many resources they had to use, and still more resources on this side of the map are available. BT play probably coming through here. I don't think that Zaka would just run out into the open after having an amazing chase. So yeah, there's the BT coming through, the hit will come through, and the stun, but Binny will be able to break the pallet, kind of zoning the survivor away from any remaining other pallets, but a close one nearby will save them, and it's exactly what Zaka is going to be able to find. Played that out by seeing it while they were on the hook, and now will go down once again, however, since they thought that the killer would respect that. But no, there's no respect to be had from Binny. Binny is going to be the most disrespectful person here and hook you on that meat hook. Now going to return probably immediately behind and see Dan there, who is not fully infected, and try and chase them away. No pallets available on this side of the map, but Binny's not going to commit to it. Instead, going to go back and try to get some regression on these generators nearby. We see 2 stacks of No Way Out and 4 stacks of Thanatophobia. Now going to play as that pop goes, the weasel goes off on that generator. In the meantime, however, the survivors need to be working on these generators and getting as much pressure as possible, as this 3-gen is still up on this side of the map. And it is so important for the survivors to get rid of that as fast as possible. As we see both survivors now running around this loop, Binny is just going to take the down onto Dan and continue to go back and hook into this area and get their pop goes the weasel and get their No Way Out stack.
Absolutely. Just the way that, you know, things, you know, even though we had such a great start from Team Eternal, right? Just the way that, you know, Benny was able to kind of turn things around right there, kind of choke off Zaka, right? Even though Zaka did provide us with a long chase, that second one, not as long as the first one, and was able to get the pop right. You know, up until this point, we saw no value out of that, you know, that change in perks, which, you know, to keep in mind, you know, the builds are almost exactly the same with the exception of, you know, switching out Rankle for pop. So that, you know, makes it to where we weren't getting as much value. And now, you know, thankfully, because of, you know, the ability to get the hooks and get hooks near gens that you needed to break, we saw a lot of value there. As we get to the last generator available or remaining, and yeah, we're gonna have to see how Benny's gonna want to play this out. Are you gonna opt to, you know, like we saw in the first match, are you gonna opt to get the camp on the hook, or are you gonna try to, you know, keep pressuring survivors?
Well, with this many stages, it's going to be a very close match if Binny is able to camp this out before the last generator is done and get another kill after that. I believe Binny will be in the position to win here. We'll see the second stage come out onto Dan in the meantime, and going to be able to now get the chase back onto Zaka as well. Not many pallets available in this center of the map. The only one remaining was this one, and so now must run towards the shack side of the map where we saw the survivors working on the last generator. In the meantime, however, Binny is going to return back towards this pool and get their power up to try and get this down as fast as possible. The survivors, if they are playing smart, need to come over and get this save as fast as possible, and it seems that's exactly what we will see Royalty doing. But Binny knows this and has been heading over there themselves as well, probably seeing the scratch marks or wherever Royalty is going and trying to interrupt that as fast as possible.
Absolutely. And there you go, has the Corrupt Purge online, and once again coming back to kind of make sure, you know, to secure this kill for sure. And however, though, we do see the switch in player cams, right? We see that generator about to pop, and there it is. 3 stacks of No Way Out, a little bit longer of an end game than we saw last match, and we're gonna have to see if it is enough to potentially close this out. Golden Wolves, like we said earlier, you know, Golden Wolves, a very strong team. Eternal, probably one of the more heavy favorites, and so far they're looking so good right now. Gets the kill and has Zaka right here already potentially gonna get the down here.
Yeah, very probable that the down comes through right here on the shack, as we do see that Benny has their power up. However, the survivors aren't going to give him to it free. Playing very well around this. A wonderful fake from Benny, but Zaka, or Royalty, has seen that every day of his life, being an experienced survivor, and knows that that was a fake. Or immediately runs back and tries to bait out the power even more, but Benny has to return back to the power. However, in the meantime, that no way out is going to be ticking down. Right now, if you're Benny, you need to make sure that you're able to get it down. Following these scratch marks is a good idea, however, since there are no pallets left in the center side of the map.
Absolutely. One of the beauty, one of the things about Azeroth's, right? Like not as much of an access and not as plentiful as pallets as other maps can be, and this could be really scary as well. I mean, we saw 3 or 4 pallet drops from Zaka. We saw a couple other pallet drops from the rest of the team. So this will be really scary if you do get found in like a chokehold situation. And here comes a corrupt purge, and finding another survivor trying to get the down here as the no way out timer runs out. And you got to think they're already on a gate at this point, potentially.
Yeah, definitely on a gate already, as we saw them beforehand. We see the body block also attempt to come through. Is it going to be... Oh my god! A wonderful dodge there from Royalty. Now going to get the body block, but no, it's not true. And the down will come through as we see the injure onto Bubba Zava as well. Now potentially a 2-man down, but no, Benny's just going to take the guaranteed points and kill Royalty and make sure that they're able to win out this round. I believe this should be the win if this death does come through. However, maybe potentially going for Bubba Zava as well would have been good there if the survivors are able to come in and get a save. They're going to have to try at least if they want to secure the win for themselves. Eternal was the favorite, like we said beforehand, but Golden Wolves is just playing out of their minds right now on both survivor and killer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, just the fact that, Bubba Zara was around and, that looks really scary for a second, right? Because if you get that corrupt purge, if you get that hit and you're close enough, you can get the M1 relatively quickly, but, you do have to account for potential dead hard. You have to account for any potential, like, mind games or tricks like that. But, however, we see the 2-man escape knowing, even if they're not thinking about the score actively in their heads, they know how close this potentially could be. And there goes Zaka with the unhook. And we saw it earlier. Zaka does have access to that bottle time. So you're going to have to try to get maybe Zaka broken and then get the down right here as well. So, and there it is. There's the broken status effect. No instant down right now. So you got to be careful if you're Zaka going to try to run away, as Royalty definitely has made distance to this point and is probably safe.
Yeah, definitely safe as much as possible as they can be in this situation, but all survivors are going to be broken from the Plague's power. They're going to need a reset by cleansing, and that's exactly what we saw the Claudette doing there. Now going to run towards the main building. There's not much to work around here, as we did see the wall get broken earlier. Now just going to have to play around a regular shack window here. And not much for the survivor to do. Benny just needs to bloodlust them, and they are on bloodlust too, so they could do it, but it seems like they're trying to play too many mind games here and might lose the bloodlust as they've lost chase. But no, the bloodlust will be kept alive, and now the down should come through onto Zaka.
And there it is. Finally took a little bit longer than possibly expected, but was able to get the down, like you said. And again, the beauty about remembering certain interactions with these survivors, remembering what exhaustion perks they have access to as they get death. And this is going to be a 2 out once again. And man, again, it's really close to call it, right? It's super close.
It's going to be super close here coming into it. We'll have the score with you guys shortly, but oh my god, what an amazing match just from both sides. We saw that early game being so good for the survivors. Zaka being able to keep up an incredible chase and make sure that their team was able to get as many gens as done as possible, but Benny able to bring it back in the end game, having so much built up pressure through that Thanatophobia, through that no way out, and through that pop, to just keep so much pressure onto these survivors, especially that pop able to regress those generators on his 3-gen side of the map. But the survivors were able to break it eventually. However, even in the end game, Benny played out of their mind and was able to get another 2 downs onto the survivors. And I believe we'll have that score in soon. But what are your thoughts, SSBKid?
34-31 on, man, that's, 3-point difference. That's again, it was too close to call it, like that's just kind of the beauty of it, right? It's just how well both sides were playing. Mistakes were definitely made on both sides for sure, but just like the way that both sides were able to capitalize in different ways, right? Like, in the first match we saw a little bit of different play style, right, coming in from Golden Wolves. They played very quickly. They played with a lot of pressure, and there was no real answer for the killer to just to come in and try to get some slowdown, right? Just because no regression perks, nothing like that. Conversely, in the second match, we see Benny bringing the Pop Goes the Weasel, right, running the identical same other three perks though, however, and getting one more stack of No Way Out, prolonging the end game a little bit. However, though, on Eternal side, I mean, the chase from Zaka was just like textbook, right? Literally, just like it you couldn't have done any better for sure, and that provided Eternal the chance to just bring this back, and I mean 3-point difference, right?
The 3-point difference, yeah, it's going to be super close, but we'll see how they're going to be able to respond in this Spirit set when we come back from the break. Hello everybody and welcome back. Now on the Spirit set with Matto5 playing out here, we see once again Pain Resonance being brought into these Spirit matches. A new meta pick for the killer, it seems, as the killers have been able to get so much pressure with that combination with Pop Goes the Weasel. In the meantime, we see the survivors now hiding in this corrupt side of the map, going to try and avoid Matto5's gaze for as long as possible. However, we saw Zaka was nearby here, so if Matto5 is able to find the chase in this little bit of a dead zone, it would be huge for the killer, but it seems like Matto5 will eventually just leave this area, trying to return now to the generators where he finds somebody working on this generator. It is going to be Nightlight themselves, and we will start the chase on this crane.
Absolutely, and like you said, getting the chase on the crane, getting the mobility with Spirit to just get around from point A to point B effectively, and this combo of perks is actually really smart. It's actually really crazy to see how good it is. As we get into the phase walk, gonna try to get the mind game, and sometimes you just gotta hold W, reposition, and nice reappearance to get the M1. We do see the pallet going down as well, so that does provide a little bit of distance. However, Matto5 is gonna look to try to close this out as we get the phase walk online. A nice little fake, maybe potentially baiting out like a change in positioning that would have been very unfortunate. However, we do see Stack Pallet going down as we get the phase online right now, and let's see what's the hit. These pre-drops against Spirit are just so good because you're forced to, oh my god, you're forced to change your positioning as we get the immediate down right there. We do see a gen pop, but oh my god, what a textbook clinic on how to reappear out of the phase and get the quick M1s, right?
Yeah, and we see that Pain Resonance go off. The survivor Zaka was not able to get off in time as well, meaning Matto5 knows exactly where to head over, knows where the next gen is with the most progression is, and knows that a survivor was on it. So Matto5 is going to need to go over there as fast as possible, but it seems instead they're going to try and look for the survivors, maybe coming in for the save, maybe even deciding to camp out this hook, making sure that the survivors aren't able to get any pressure on the map before this match even starts. But Matto5 now finally going to return over to where he saw that Pain Resonance go off and use Pop Goes the Weasel. The blind attempt goes through, but it's not going to be successful. Matto5 now immediately going to return back to the hook as we see For the People play go out, preventing the tunnel. Now Matto5 needs to go for the Kate instead, as they are the injured one, and this combination of duration and speed isn't going to allow Matto5 to get their power up as soon as possible, meaning that there is still going to be some counterplay potential here from Sir Pickles, but a wonderful hit through the pallet here from Matto5, able to get that down immediately and get so much pressure into this game. It's just right off the start, getting two free fresh hooks is going to be huge. You lose 2 gens, maybe even 3 gens, as we see these survivors aren't letting up as well, so this could be huge still in the meantime. However, and Nightlight seems to be wanting to take some hits, maybe getting some stacks of We're Gonna Live Forever there in the meantime.
I love how you say we're gonna live forever in a custom, but however, regardless, great stuff. I mean, we saw the body blocks, right, trying to waste a little bit more time right there, but man, just like the way as soon as that generator pops, but just the way that Matto5 was able to throw out that hitbox early enough, to kind of catch Sir Pickle trying to guard his life with the pallet, right? So really good stuff. And I mean, like you said, the thing is though is slowing down the game like this, you do end up running the risk of losing generators as we get to 2 gens already. And however, the phase back online, gonna get this hit right now onto Dan as we get a immediate beeline potentially towards that hook rescue.
Yeah, that For the People really played so well into the survivors game, able to get so much pressure. However, there is a 3 gen in this area, and we will see that Matto5 is going to be able to get so much pressure if they're able to find the Kate Sir Pickles right now in the middle but no, instead he's going to find Nightlight, and Madden knows not to chase this. They know that they need to leave and go for somebody else, as you know, there's no real incentive to go for Nightlight right now. Even though they were the first hook, you want to get that injured person down as fast as possible, and finding them out in the open right now, Sir Pickles, if they go down, this will be huge for Matt05. However, it seems like they're not going to make it easy, jumping into the locker, forcing that DS pick, but it seems Matt05 is just going to wait it out, as the survivors will continue to work on these generators. Only about 15 seconds left on that DS timer. If Matt05 is patient enough, they will be able to wait it out, but the survivors in the meantime are going to be working these generators, and 2 should pop in that meantime, and it seems the down will finally come through. Sir Pickle is now going to go away, as the survivors are close to completing the second to last generator, and the other last generator is now at 50%.
Absolutely. And once again, we mentioned it earlier in Campfire Chat, how quick the matches can be with the Spirit, right? How quickly she can get from point A to point B. However, Eternal is fighting back, providing quick pressure, hard pressure, getting these gens 1, 2, 3, 4 done, right? As we do get that pop goes the Weasel to prevent that generator from, you know, instant quarter of a gen right down. But however, just the way Eternal's able to kind of just, you know, consistently, you know, provide pound for pound, you know, in terms of game pace, it's huge, honestly. And here we go, we potentially get a trade here. No, gonna opt to try to camp it out, and this is, you know, this is where the standoff comes in, right? What are you gonna do here? Trying to get around Zaka, but nothing so far.
Yeah, you know, without this 2-man save, this 1-man save is going to be really risky. The grab might come through. You're probably just waiting for your survivor teammate to come over before actually going for anything. Just tapping to waste time, making sure that the survivor can stay alive as long as possible, as the timer does pause while you're tapping. So yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. Nightlight now going to come in for this save. However, we will see the Spirit try to walk around, maybe even phasing out. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Going for one of these survivors, finds the hit onto, I believe that was Zaka. Oh yeah, that was Zaka, and now the hook will come through onto them. A fresh hook will come through. Very, very good at this point in the game to get these fresh hooks, as you're going to have that potential for points go up exponentially as the in-game comes closer and closer.
Absolutely. We saw Dan quickly hop off of that gen, right, in order to avoid the notification of pain res, right, because you do get info, and we find Sir Pickle once again. This is going to be scary. Are we going to, you know, are we going to see the DS timer, right, immediately as we hear, you know, the jump into the locker? And wow, a little bit unfortunate right there. Gets the vault a little bit, and, you know, going to try to change targets here, right? Do you want to camp out, you know, the DS timer and potentially risk the generator popping? And that's exactly what happens. And now we see the end game starting, right? And this is going to be an interesting ending for sure, like, especially with the access to the one and only, you know, end game perk, right?
Definitely, and we will see that coming through right now as we see the survivors go away. No in-game perks, meaning that they can just leave as fast as possible and make sure that they're able to get out. This probably is going to be a 4-man out, since the survivors who are all injured are already at the doors and are on their way escaping currently. And yep, there's the 4-man out. Wonderfully played by Eternal, being able to keep up the pressure on those generators through all the thick and thin that Matt05 put out.
Absolutely. Just the way that Matt05 was able to just, you know, kind of go around and get all these hooks. However, great stuff to Eternal for just consistently, you know, providing pressure and finding themselves in great positions, you know, to avoid, you know, these free hooks for sure, especially towards the end, right? As we had the no-ed come out as well, right? Even though everybody was injured. So great stuff to them so far. As we get a change of scenery, a change in killer rosters, we're going to go to a short break, but we'll be right back with the second half of the Spirit match. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We do apologize for that extended break due to a balance offense. You know, gotta do your housekeeping stuff. Gotta bring your offerings. So sadly, Eternal will be taking a -2 to their original score. However, we do see Bubba Zavra coming in with the Spirit, and we see everybody. We see Rats. We see Ryan, we see Mortal, we see Slow Galio. Like, we have everybody here on Golden Wolves' side as they look to potentially bring this back and provide us with a textbook match against the Spirit in order to close out the match here, potentially not even trying to go to the demo for the third set of killers.
Yeah, hopefully Golden Wolves is able to do that and get this win condition back, as they had a pretty rough match on Killer previously. Now Bubba Zavar is going to try and show that potential on the Killer. Ooh, with a pretty good phase, but not able to close it out. We do see, however, now Rats is going to make some distance away onto a pallet to get even more distance away as Bubba breaks that pallet and now going to make some distance all the way away to the point where now we want to chase slow off that generator. We will have access to Pop Goes the Weasel and Pain Resonance like beforehand, but interestingly, we will also see Agitation being used instead of any in-game perks, instead of any other slowdown. We are going to see that Agitation being used, probably to bring them into the basement, camp them out, and try to get as much pressure as possible. However, Slow went all the way to the corner of the map, so if a body block does come through, that basement is going to be very, very hard to get.
Absolutely. However, with the Agitation, we do see, obviously you get to go a little bit fast. You get to move a lot faster as well. And we get the immediate hook right there and immediately to the face walk. Let's see where Bubba's going to want to try to go here.
Seems like he'll find the generator and somebody on it. On that hill, the Pop Goes the Weasel will come through. I don't believe he got Pain Resonance before, as we saw none of the survivors get off that generator or scream. So there probably wasn't any white hooks on that, no Scourge hook on that hook that just got used. Now Slow is going to get unhooked, but Bubbo is probably just going to immediately try and force him towards that basement area. As the first generator pops, finally, Golden Wolves is going to have to keep this pressure up as if they want to get I was going to say if they want to get out of this match alive, but it seems Slow is not going to be one of those survivors that gets out unless they have Decisive Strike, which is exactly what's about to come through. No missed skill check here, and we will see the getaway now coming through.
Absolutely, back to square one, back to the drawing board. It was really unfortunate how, Bubba had done a really good job, gets the hit immediately, so it doesn't even matter, right? You lose like 5 seconds probably with this DS. However, the awareness, right, as we get that generator pop, but the awareness of phasing, recognizing the scratch marks and recognizing that there was no scratch marks behind you or in front of you on that longer side of the structure, knowing that there was only one place you could go, which was where the window vault happened, as we get the basement hook. No true Pain Resonance value just yet. However, with the pop, we easily get that instant 25% regression, as we see a survivor already right here looking to potentially try to set up for the save.
And that was 25% that you wanted to keep. The survivors wanted to pop this generator so bad. We saw Mordo working on it earlier, but even as the hook was coming through, but now is forced off and has that 25% penalty right before they could finish it. Mordo now going to take that hit and run towards the garbage truck, maybe trying to get some use out of Lithe or another one of his perks, and it seems that's exactly what's going to happen as we see the window vault, but Bubbo is just going to return immediately back towards the basement as he sees someone going in for the save. It sounds like the Lori and the, or no, not the Lori, sorry, my ears are off today. It is going to be the Nia Rats getting the save, but Bubbo is probably just going to wait for the, oh no, instead going to return back to Rats and now going for Slow, who has already made some huge distance thanks to balance landing and that hit take from the survivor. But now for the people play from the survivors, it's going to be so huge, going to be able to buy so much time from the killer, and now Mortal will go down instead of Slow. The kill will not come through just yet, but instead now a fresh hook will come through as well.
Absolutely. The awareness right there from Bubbo, just able to recognize the pallet drop, recognizing where the scratch marks were going. They weren't going around the structure, so we were going to see a W key play right there from Mordo. Man, for the people though, so it's becoming such a popular perk now to use amongst the comp team, which is really nice to see for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see the survivors trying to spread out their pressure as much as possible as Rats is in chase. No access to Dead Hard, no access to balance landing as they've already used it, so the down will happen in the corner, and the save on the survivors will come through at the meantime, as well as a generator starting it to be repaired as well. Slow probably going to reset the survivor as soon as possible. No, instead, Mordo is going to go off on their own as they are still broken from that For the People play. I forgot about that, so now needs to go and reset themselves. As we see the hook coming through and Slow positioning for that save as well. We'll see Bubbo head over towards the generator that was being worked on by the last remaining survivor, the Lori.
Yeah, as we get, again, the pop combo right there, we get some regression for sure. So gonna have to try to find, at 2 gens, we have some people dead on hook. We have at least one person dead on hook. So, I'm actually curious to see, what the game plan is going to be right here. And nice immediate reappearance with the phasing, immediate pickup. The DS is gone. The DS was on someone else as we go right back to the hook. Second stage right now for the Nia, for Bubbo right now. Really, really good stuff so far. Gonna try to reposition. No scratch marks so far. Gonna have to try to maybe find the gen, get the pop reset right. And there we go. We see some scratch marks already onto the Ace, onto Mordo in the Killer Shack, out of the Killer Shack. What's the option right here? Gonna have to try to see if there's any mix-ups right here with the phasing. A nice hit out of the reappearance right there. And, you know, at this pace, it looks like we might get it down relatively quickly here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and Bubbo is going to try and keep up this pressure that they've got throughout the entire match, already having a much better result than what we saw from Golden Wolves. Having this death on Slow so early into the match has paid off so well in keeping up this pressure, as Slow really can't do anything risky anymore, can't play for some brave saves, has to play very, very passively, while all the other survivors have to try and get on these generators as fast as possible. Having somebody who you're scared of dying is going to mean that you can't really go for some big plays. You have to go for safe plays, and that means that you're going to have to play slow, and playing slow against a Spirit is never a good idea since they are so good in chase. You need to have all that pressure that you can get, and the survivors right now are going to try and bring it back by working on these generators, but in the meantime, Bubbo is just going to have so much pressure, even if the survivors reset right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said, just, you know, with the danger of 3 people dead on hook right now, getting the full reset potentially, or at least getting 2 resets, that's honestly instrumental, because that allows you, you know, even if you do go down to the Spirit, that allows you to kind of, you know, extend the time as long as possible, forcing her to get 2 hits on you instead of 1, as we get a full reset from the entire team. Great stuff. We did see it earlier. We saw the cleansing of the totem. That was definitely signs of an inner healing play as we get it right there. But man, 3 people dead on hook. This is really scary. Like you said, you know, maybe too many people dead on hook at this point. You might need to take some risks, but like you said, playing it safe is definitely going to be the key here as we get the phase, as we get a reappearance. But nobody home so far. Someone managed to make distance here.
Yeah, making that distance is also going to be instrumental, as you don't want any chases from Bubba right now. I believe right now, if all survivors get out, there might be a chance that the score is very, very close, but it seems like Golden Wolves is going to be in a position where they can't let anybody die right now. If they do, it's going to definitely go into the favor of Eternal, and we'll see the chase onto Rats. You need to make sure that Rats is able to get away if you are Golden Wolves, and it seems that's exactly what they're going to do, just holding W across the side of the map. So Bubba is forced to return back to his 3-gen, as we see 1 generator pop and another one coming soon, probably. But Bubba is going to be able to find somebody hiding, and that's going to be Slow. Slow is also on Death Hook, but Bubba's not going to commit to it. Instead, returning back to his generator first, checking to make sure that no survivors are on it. No survivors are sneaking past him and able to work on those generators, but now going to return back to where Slow was previously, following the scratch marks and making sure that they're able to find them as fast as possible.
Oh, unfortunate right there. Tried to get the hit right. Thought he had the right positioning, but gonna get a stall right here. That's a dead Adam, honestly. Dying towards the corner of the map. You know, we did see the healthy Mortal. We could see potentially some body block hits, some hits right here. However, with the agitation and with the hook, actually not that far. You know, that's gonna be the death as we get the last generator done, generator number 5, as we have 2 people dead on hook, no access to any endgame perks, no no-ed, no way out, anything like that. So you're gonna have to pressure people off of these doors very quickly, as we see sights set on Mortal right now, it seems like.
Yeah, and those sight sets needs to be sights gained. You know, you want to make sure that you get as many points as possible here. Even if that kill does come through, you still have to fresh up on the Lori. That's a 10-point swing entirely if you're able to go out and make sure that they're able to get out. So it could still be really, really close, though it does seem like it's in Eternal's favor at the moment. Morto, however, if they want any chance, needs to make sure that they're able to make it out, and it seems like Bubbo is not going to allow that and going to deny that as fast as possible. Getting the quick hit when power up almost immediately afterwards is going to be able to phase all the way down. See, here's the vault, and here's where the survivor is. Here's the footsteps, and it's able to connect the final hit onto Morto and get that down. The Nodders knowing that they've won.
Yeah, great stuff right there. Knowing that they won, knowing that the first killer with the Plague didn't go 100% in favor, at least the way they thought they would. Taking one back, taking a survivor match back, putting on a clinic for us on how to deal with Spirit, putting on a clinic on how to consistently, you know, get these quick reactions, right? The showcase of reactions out of the phases, out of, you know, with the M1s have been so huge for sure. Solidifying them a hard-fought, well-earned second killer match as we go into the tiebreaker. But before all of that happens, we do need to do some housekeeping and take a short break. We'll be right back with the last killer in this Golden Wolves Eternal series.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the what could be the last round for Golden Wolves versus Eternal. I'm stepping in for G'day. He had to go take care of some things, so he will not be available for the rest of the stream. So I have the lovely pleasure of taking over. Hello, SSB. I'm glad I get to cast with you.
Absolutely, you know, a little bit prematurely than what we initially thought, but you know what? It's all good nonetheless. As we get into the tiebreaker, we get the Demogorgon tiebreaker, which is going to be such a treat at the Thompson house in a change of scenery, change of realms with the Coldwind farm, as Zaka already finding the first survivor right here. Let's see if we get the shred here, and nice juke back right. That's one of the biggest things, right? You have to be aware of when to shift back and forth, right? Just because of the presence of the hitbox, you have to make sure you're aware of the timing, you're aware how long it's out for. And nice juke so far. Zaka unable to get the first hit so far.
Yeah, Slow putting on an absolute spectacle in this chase, even with the unsafe pallet, doing such a good job of just wasting as much of Zaka's time as possible. Now going over to the TL wall, Bamboozle going to be taking effect, but Slow going straight back to the pallet does finally get hit by the shred and is going to be running over to this long wall jungle gym. Oh, goes down.
Absolutely great stuff right there. Finally does go down. The way Zaka was able to chain the Bamboozle into the shred at first to force Slow out of that loop, even though it was unsafe with the pallet down, it can provide a lot of wasted time for sure. But regardless, Zaka finally gonna get the first hook. However, Golden Wolves will be getting rid of generator number 1.
Yeah, and from our little look, it looks like generator 2 is also on the way. There it is. And we're gonna see Zaka placing down the portal. We did see rats there in the corn, and it looks like that is going to be maybe the next target. Zaka placing down another portal, just setting up, now portaling right back. Thinks that rats is just a distraction, and there's generator number 3. We do see both survivors. We know both survivors are in that main building. So right now, we don't really need to worry about Steve at the current moment.
Absolutely, and so far the shreds are here. Everybody's repositioning. People are trying to get this save. However, if you do commit to this M2, you're gonna end up forcing yourself into getting the unhook, and that's exactly what's gonna happen right here. But oh my goodness, so far great stuff. Everybody's injured though, so you do gotta be careful as we get the down right there. Really aggressive rescue, really aggressive, like, you know, was willing to go down for whatever reason. And however, we do see them kind of just go back. Zaka repositioning, trying to get this extra hit, maybe forcing the down already just to have someone slugged right now. However, we're gonna get the pickup right here, and with the way that we were getting that really aggressive unhook, you know, something tells me we see a certain potential play happen right here.
I mean, I think this is just stylistic of how, or sorry, this is indicative of how Gold Wolves likes to play against Demogorgon. They play a lot of body blocks, they play really aggressive, and in the past it has worked for them, but we do see Zaka with that force penance, so those body blocks are going to be punished a little bit more. And Mordo just hanging on this hook. There isn't much back here. You have the TL that Zaka counters with the Bamboozle. You have this pallet that was here is now gone. You only have that one pallet in the far back corner. Other than that, there's not a whole lot around this hook.
Yeah, the only thing that you can really do here is, I don't remember exactly what exhaustion perk the Claudette does have, but, you know, maybe a sprint burst to that pallet could also work. A sprint burst, you know, away, you know, that could potentially work as well. However, the thing is like you said, there's not many other resources available for you, so it becomes a scary situation, you know, if you do end up getting this unhook on to the Claudette. But Zaka looks very keen to just kind of hold it off right now, you know, does not mind with this at all, as we see, you know, Zaka kind of reposition. And generator number 4 is popped, and this is looking really scary right now for Eternal. Yeah, the shred right there, immediately aware of just not being able to get that hit. As we get the shred, and once again, no dice so far. Golden Wolves, the way they're able to juke around the Demogorgon shreds here has been just so textbook.
Yeah, and it's mostly Slow with those jukes. Slow, I think, in the past has had some of the best jukes, but then again, we see something very similar from Rats. Demogorgon, you can tell this is something they've practiced against. They know what they're doing, and there's the last generator being completed. Rats with the adrenaline gets even more distance, and now Zaka does have that no-ed, but right now it seems like this chase is going to go on for quite a while. And Rats might be the last survivor that Zaka chases this entire game.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you go, gets the vault into the bamboozle. However, it doesn't even matter because you're chaining yourself into this pallet right here. Gets the shred, does have a little bit of cooldown. However, you know, this side of the map has just been, you know, fresh pallets. And there you go, there's the mind game. Not gonna get anything so far. Oh, unfortunate. Maybe could have, if he, you know, maybe if Zaka commits to the lunge right there, would have gotten the hit. However, regardless, gets the hit anyways. Good stuff right there. Good awareness, because, you know, with the bamboozle timer running out, you know, you saw them try to go for the vault, but it doesn't even matter anyways, as everybody comes back looking desperately for that no-ed, potentially trying to get the save. We'll have to see what the move is here.
I mean, if I know Golden Wolves, I know they're looking for that no-ed totem, and they're going to try and go for this save. They are going to... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. They might just be going for the out. Although...
Yeah, we'll have to see.
It does... if they can find that no-ed, this definitely does seem savable. Although they are having to work against that endgame collapse timer.
Absolutely. Like, even if they do find the no-ed, you know, Zaka would just be looking to kind of just defend this hook and waste even more time, as like we see it right here, gonna take potentially the 3 out here, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. However, you know, I have seen Zaka play on this killer before. I have seen them do relatively well, but the way Golden Wolves just played against them, you know, very dominant, very clear-cut first game going to Golden Wolves in this Demogorgon tiebreaker, which, again, like we said earlier, on paper, you know, we did see Eternal potentially being the favorite to win this set here, and however, right now, it's basically match point right now for Golden Wolves.
Yeah, and, oh, I forgot to update the names on the campfire chat. Whoops. But yeah, I do have that score, and it's 16-15 in favor of Golden Wolves. That's a really close score.
Considering how much it seemed like Golden Wolves dominated that set or that match, and for it to be a 1-point difference is so scary, man, like, honestly. However, though, we will be going to transitioning into a short break as we switch sides and we get the closer to this thrilling match that we've had so far. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to what could very well be the last game of this match. Golden Wolves versus Eternal. We got Slow playing the Demogorgon for Golden Wolves against the survivors of Eternal. And once again, I am joined by SSB, and I will let him take the very first chase.
Absolutely. As we see the firecracker come out right there, it's curtains, right? It's the new year, all that good stuff. However, nice little look up, not gonna get anything there, and nice hits the shred to counteract the window vault, and is gonna look to try to just reposition at that point and maybe start looking for generators right there. So really good stuff. Maybe wanted to potentially, like, maybe recognize that there might be a balanced landing in play, which is why, you know, he was so adamant on going up there and going through the window, right? So, you know, because that's something that you definitely do in callouts, right? Like, you definitely, like, communicate to each other. I have balance, like, let me take him up here, and I have this, let me go here, right? So great stuff so far. However, we do see the sights returning onto the Atom right now. We'll have to see what the mind game is right here. You can definitely see the Demogorgon here, so that makes it really scary as we get the immediate pallet drop. Gets the break, tries to make distance. However, this is looking sort of towards like a dead zone, so, but no, misses the shred right there as we get another person involved in this chase.
Yeah, we do see Royalty coming in for the body blocks. How it's going to be dropped, and that might just be a target change, possibly. We see a survivor in the Killer Shack. This is going to be Nightlights on that Atom. No bamboozle to block off this window. Instead, opting for that Thanatophobia extra slowdown, and it is going to be a down into the pallet. Do we see a pallet save? There's a survivor here, and we do see the pallet save. Very nicely played from Royalty.
My goodness, just the awareness and the positioning to get into the pallet save. You know, the way Nightlight looked, it looked like he was trying to drop the pallet down, but unfortunately wasn't going to be enough anyways. Gets the pallet save anyways, and does make enough distance to even make it to this pallet. Gets the break, continuing to make distance right here. Are you going to get the down? Or are you going to be able to have someone else come in and take another body block for you? Because honestly, the way that that's been working, people are still managing to pump out gens, even though you're having to take time to come save your teammate. As we get 2 gens pop right here, as we get into another jungle gym, as we get into another pallet and gets the break yet again. However, the resources are limited. We're going to have to see what Nightlight can do here. Are you going to make it? Yes, you are. As we finally get the first down. However, Slow will get punished with 2, potentially 3 generators being completed here.
And we do see survivors nearby posturing for that save. Dan's gonna leave Slow away, but Royalties was sitting in that jungle gym, and Zaka just working on those gens. So it looks like the survivors of Eternal really have their game plan together, and it is going to be a very quick shred onto Dan. Nightlight still hasn't been pulled off the hook, so Slow is going to have the chance to kind of walk back in that direction and possibly pressure any survivors over here. And we are going to have the shred off the hill, probably that shred for distance. No, just going to drop down and look around. Going to place a portal. I believe that's the first, no, this would be the second portal of the match. And right now we're just going to have Slow kind of just pressuring this hook.
Absolutely. Gets the fake into the portal, right? Decides to hold it and then pulls out at the last second. Maybe something to note is, you know, having the third person field of view with the hook survivor Nightlight, maybe calling out a portal and then maybe, you know, mind gaming and faking it, right? To kind of, you know, confuse survivors in their positioning as Slow finds Nightlight yet again, but ends up missing right there. Nightlight going to be able to kind of quickly escape and make a little bit more distance as we definitely get a target change right here. No pallet right here. You're going to have to keep running as we see. Oh no, you lost him. You kind of held W key right here towards the other side of the hill potentially, and Slow, unfortunate, gonna have to look to try to reposition and change targets yet again. Great awareness from Royalty, great escape right there.
Yeah, and we do see the generators are very spread out. I don't think there's, you kind of have that 3-gen top side, but aside from that, that's a very spread out 3-gen. That's harder to cover. But we do see Zaka could be taking the shred through the shack window and just going to be running over onto the cow tree. We do have 2 injured survivors here running out into the corn, and one of them should be going down fairly soon. Zaka still at the cow tree. Slow doesn't want to bother with it, and Nightlight doesn't Slow tries to project the juke. Nightlight doesn't fall for it. But we do see that generator that was in the 3-gen gets popped, and Nightlight's only on second stage.
Absolutely. Only 2 stages right now for survivors, and as we get the last generator also procced, just the way that Nightlight and Zaka were able to kind of, you know, come together and force, you know, Slow to make a decision right there, and the decision was to go after the person already with a hook. As we get the shred right here, but the no it is going to give you an extra speed boost. So you're going to make it here. No gets the immediate pallet drop. That was really scary to say the least. This is a 50-50 at this point. Are you going to keep running? Yes, you are. You might make it to this pallet, but again, no it haste status effect could help as you shred, but you don't break the pallet, and you see Nightlight coming back. This is a little risky because if you do go down here, you end up just dying right here. You're going to take the death on hook possibly as we get the body box right there. And yeah, there it is. Just a clear indication. This is no it. This is what we got for you as we get the pickup right here.
This was just a dominant performance from the survivors of Eternal. Nightlight, only person hooked this entire game. That is going to be a massive point difference. I'm actually tallying that up right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So,
and as you tally it, you know, just some things to note for sure. Just the way that Eternal was able to just play separate but well together. I mean, I'm assuming their communications have to have been just on point, textbook. The way they were able to just avoid everything, you know, just the fact that, you know, the quick decision making and the change of targets that Slow was looking to go for, you know, losing the Claudette on that, you know, in that structure towards top side of the map was really unfortunate because that forced a lot of pressure, like let go completely. And, you know, I mean, you got the scores. What does it tell us? What do we got here?
So the final score was 23-34 with Eternal winning this round. And I have to say, after that first game of this round, I was a little worried that Golden Wolves would actually manage to win this and take that upset. But no, it is going to be Eternal coming home with the dub here in this matchup, and I have to say, I'm rather happy with how this match went.
Absolutely. I mean, I said it earlier as well when we were, making our predictions. Just the fact that on paper Eternal looked like they were going to be, they're the team to beat for sure, or one of the teams to beat. And the fact that Golden Wolves came in, had a great opening, a couple weeks ago, last week, or whenever their last game was able to show that they're here to play and that they mean business, taking Eternal all the way to the tiebreaker and putting them on the back foot to start off with in general. However, Eternal, probably a little bit more seasoned, having a lot of experience, having a lot of tournament experience, able to just kind of reel it back together, pull it back, and get the dub for Team Eternal as we get the the victory. But again, it was hard fought to say the least the entire way through.
Yep. And we are going to have an interview from one of the players from Eternal, and we will have that for you right after the break. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another interview. I am joined by Kaz, who is the coach for Team Eternal. Say hello.
What's up, guys? Coach Kaz here, Team Eternal. You know what it is.
So, you guys won today, but at the same time, that goal that you set for yourselves at the start of the season of never losing a set, unfortunately, you guys lost a set. How does that feel, and how does that change your goals for the rest of the season?
Okay, it hurts a lot, I'm not gonna lie. Early on as well. But we're gonna use that to learn from our mistakes. Focus harder in practice. And then never lose again.
Alright. I mean, I like the confidence, but personally, I still have the same doubts, because you guys are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I have ever seen a team never lose a single set here in DBDLeague. So,
Okay. Well, you'll see at the end of the season, one set
hey,
lost.
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will proudly admit that, because I'm human. But moving on to the next question. How did you guys prepare for this match? Because to me, I'm looking at these killers, and it seems like these killers more favored Golden Wolves than Eternal.
I would actually disagree with that. I feel like M1s are our strongest. But
Fair.
I guess,
Fair enough.
we just played bad, really. Which just happens.
I mean, I think you guys played really well, but I want to know how you guys prepared for this match.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we practiced about 4 hours each day. We record our games, we go over them, learn from every mistake. And then just work on that.
Alright. And one last question I have for you. So, DBD coaches have always been sort of a thing, but never to this extent. Here in Season 7, I believe, like, a third of the teams now have, like, a coach. Like, an official coach for their team. Which, comparing that to Season 6, that is a massive improvement. So, how has the role of coaching changed for competitive DBD over the past year, would you say?
I'm not really sure. Coaches just help a lot with everything, so the good team should have a coach. And I'm the best coach in the game, so I'm also the best player. So it just makes sense that I'm like a good coach. So I just know like everything with mindset and game sense.
Alright. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. Is there anything you want to say before we head back to the campfire chat?
Yeah, can you guys follow me on Twitter at KazDBD? Thank you.
Alright, the self-promo. What a way to end the interview. But with that, we are going to head back. We're going to get SSBKid back in here so we can wrap up the day. And we will see you guys in a moment. Bye-bye!
Bye.